I'm Kamal Fisher, and you're watching the Sequire Spotlight. I'm also the Vice President of Platform Services at Sequire, run by Shrax Inc. And today I'm hosting the Sequire Spotlight. With me, I have Primit Parikh. Let me know if I'm saying that correct. And he's the CEO of Transphorm, NASDAQ TGAN. Primit, welcome.
Thank you, Karma. This is Primit Parikh, co-founder, president, and COO. Thanks for having us here.
Wonderful. So please give us a brief overview of TGAN and what you guys do.
Sure. So TGAN, Transphorm, trading on the NASDAQ, is a pioneer and leading provider of gallium nitride, GaN, semiconductor devices that are widely used now in power conversion, with capability demonstrated to disrupt and displace traditional silicon devices. We are one of the only companies to have ramped our gallium nitride product in broad market segments, from adapters and fast chargers powering your mobile phone and handsets to data center, crypto mining, communication infrastructure power, broad industrial, renewables, and UPS power, and design-ins going in for automotive electric vehicles, spanning lower power to higher power 10 kilowatt class applications.
Wonderful. Does that enlighten us about what you're doing with GaN, the market applications, and everything aligned with that?
Absolutely. So gallium nitride is, like I said, is displacing traditional silicon power conversion. Anywhere you convert electricity from one form to another, whether it's your mobile handset or your laptop or a data center or your solar inverter or your automotive electric vehicle, you need a power converter or an inverter. And gallium nitride does this significantly more efficient, 30, 40, 50% energy savings, less wasted electricity, in a significantly more compact size. So you can have very small form factor, 30%, 40% smaller than silicon-based system, and enables thus cost-effective and simpler systems. So gallium nitride is completely transforming, no pun intended, the world of power conversions from all the way from adapters to automotive electric vehicles.
Wonderful, great play on words there. Primit, can you give us a little bit about your background and how you find yourself in this space?
Sure. So I've always been passionate about the intersection of business and technology, creating value with new technology. So I've been in the kind of entrepreneurial semiconductor space for a long time, having been part of small startup companies in the late 90s on gallium nitride LEDs and RF transistors, which was then subsequently acquired by Cree, one of the leaders in wide bandgap semiconductors. And then we launched Transphorm, myself and my co-founder, Professor Umesh Mishra. We launched Transphorm to make an impact in gallium nitride for power conversion, which we thought would be by far the biggest application of gallium nitride, with an impact and even a socio-economic environmental footprint of saving energy and carbon neutrality.
Excellent. Primit, please fill us in on your recent financial results and the momentum that's meant to come from that.
Sure. So Transphorm recently announced our results, and what we have achieved is an unprecedented 8 sequential quarter of product revenue growth that we are very excited about. And this is driven by our team's excellent work in Transphorm GaN products winning the market, as well as, very importantly, the overall momentum we are seeing in the gallium nitride market, Transphorm and our other worthy competitors as well. Transphorm dominates in high power gallium nitride, 1 kilowatt, which is 1000 watts and over. And we've been setting benchmarks in performance there. For example, titanium efficiency class power supplies, leading to volume shipment and wins in areas like crypto mining, gaming, and data center power supplies. We are also gaining market share in fast chargers and adapters with our easy to design in, normally off architecture with superior performance, a key reason why we are growing our ecosystem of solution partners in this area. And we also announced recently that the 1 million piece shipment in the area of adapters and chargers was an excellent proof point of demand and also ability to ramp supply in this area.
You recently raised almost $50 million, over the past few months, and since inception, approximately $180 million of capital has been put into the company by strategic investors. Can you talk a bit about some of your strategic investors and the relationship that they have with Transphorm?
Sure. So first of all, we are very proud to have our technology, IP, products, and the business vetted by blue chip partners and investors. Financial investors like KKR, our largest shareholder, with about $80 million invested into Transphorm over the last 7 years. Strategic customers like Yaskawa, the largest maker of robotics and motion control in the world, who are also our investor and customer. Our licensee in semiconductor, a leading automotive silicon semiconductor company, Nexperia, who has invested a total of $50 million through a series of licensing agreements, equity investment, and debt capital. More recently, leaders like SAS Global Wafers, a $15 billion international public company that has invested $15 million into Transphorm and now one of our core manufacturing scaling partners. Entities like Marelli, a leader in automotive, and more recently, MCM Partners Asia, opening up Asia ecosystem opportunities for us with a $10 million plus investment.
Excellent. But what does the market look like? Can you talk more about, the power market, which seems to be accelerating, and also perhaps enlighten us on how big this opportunity is overall, and then how you will break that out between SI, SiC, or SiC, and GaN in particular?
Sure. So we look at the GaN TAM. We call it the GaN TAM, which is the total available market TAM addressed by products that we reasonably have today or plan in the near future. And this is a very exciting opportunity, a tremendous opportunity, $3 billion TAM in 2023, doubling to $6 billion over 5 years and reaching $10 billion at the end of the decade. In the near term, Transphorm today is addressing and ramping heavily in lower power adapters, fast chargers, higher power, strong momentum we have in gaming power supplies, crypto mining, and server power. In the midterm, we see growth in industrial segments, renewables, UPS, energy savings. And in the long term, by far, the strongest vector is from electric vehicles. That's what is causing the market growth to $10 billion TAM at the end of the decade. And today, as you see for automotive electric vehicles, silicon carbide has been around for a long time and is quite strong, a good technology. We fully expect gallium nitride to share this EV space and start systematically taking market share away from silicon carbide.
So if we compare GaN versus silicon, can you give us a bit more information about how those compare and, where the one is better suited in terms of power and reliability compared to the other?
So no matter what your application in power conversion, due to the inherent material properties, gallium nitride offers significant advantages over both silicon and silicon carbide. So whether you are using your laptop, mobile charger, or crypto mining power, or you are in an automotive electric vehicle charger converter application, gallium nitride converts power at much higher efficiencies, which translates directly into lower waste, smaller waste, 30, 40, 50% less wasted electricity. And that too, it does it in a very compact form factor, which makes it lightweight. And then it also enables easier, simpler, and cost-effective systems. At Transphorm, what we have also done, in addition to this performance, we have pioneered Q plus R, quality plus reliability, as we call it, and shown field reliability rates of failure less than 0.3 over 1 billion hours of operation. And this is over 35 billion operating hours in the field, both in low power and high power products, which no other company, to the best of our knowledge, has so far in the market.
So you've touched on some of the benefits. Can you tell us about the current GaN products that are existing today, and also what's on the roadmap for the future?
So we are pleased to offer our customers one of the most comprehensive product portfolio in gallium nitride, from 30 watts on the lower power sides, adapters, chargers, as we talked about, to higher power, 1 to 5 kilowatts. This is with our 650 volt product family. That also includes our latest Super GaN Gen 4 and Gen 5 platforms. Transphorm is uniquely positioned that we are the only company to have a 900 volt gallium nitride product released in the market. And now our R&D team is working on 1200 volts for future electric vehicle opportunities, then something that we will directly challenge technologies like silicon carbide.
Definitely sounds exciting and intriguing all at the same time. Now, we've seen before that there was a bit of misinformation spoken about out in the markets about GaN for IC versus discrete. Can you tell us what that's all about and where you see trends developing?
Sure. So this misinformation, or myths as we call it, it refers to certain claims that only certain type of GaN or a certain type of IC can do performance or certain features of GaN, which is not quite true at all. Rather, the performance comes from the core gallium nitride device and its ease of use. For example, several examples we can show. We have seen higher efficiency in 65-watt adapters in the same apples-to-apples comparison done by our customer versus other GaN products like the so-called ICs. We have switched GaN at high speed. GaN is a very fast semiconductor, and that's why its performance advantages in part comes from. We have switched GaN at high speed, high frequency, 1 megahertz, and that too at 1 kilowatts, 1000 watts, 10 times higher than what today's GaN ICs are delivering. Then there is talk about so-called D mode, E mode, which is technical jargon, rather irrelevant. What matters for customers is a normally off solution, which is related to safe operating need. And Transphorm provides a normally off solution in an architecture that has the performance of gallium nitride, but actually the look and feel of silicon, allowing our gallium nitride to be used in a standard way without any additional components, we call them shrubbery, to interface gallium nitride with the outside world. And then with respect to integration, there is always a choice of how, when, and where. For example, in our topology, we integrate silicon in our gallium nitride, and then we utilize drivers which power the gallium nitride or the power transistor that are already integrated almost for free in controller architectures, which is like the brain of the power conversion. So in this case, for example, no driver is better than an additional integrated one. So we are not saying negative about any approach or any particular solution, just clarifying facts versus myth. Basically, there is no one broad brush view of integration. It's you make a good gallium nitride product, you offer a superior performance, easy to use, reliable, and cost competitive to your customer.
Let's talk about intellectual property. How fungible is your product across verticals?
We believe the IP that our team has created systematically over the last 15 years is one of the strongest in gallium nitride power. And as we have said before, two companies actually, Transphorm and Infineon, are the strongest here in GaN power IP. The beauty about our patents and IP portfolio, it is completely transparent across verticals. It spans materials, devices, packages, circuits, and applications. For example, we have one of the strongest IP for making fundamental bridge circuits, so to speak, whether those come in power supplies or automotive electric vehicles, and no matter whose gallium nitride you use, our circuit level IP will be something that people have to come to terms with. So again, reiterating, what we want to do with our IP is number one, give the customers peace of mind that when they are working with Transphorm, they never have to worry about IP.
What do you see as the nearest term opportunity for Transphorm?
So 2 or 3 key things we are focused on. The beauty about Transphorm is we own our own gallium nitride manufacturing. The most critical part of the gallium nitride wafer and wafer fabrication, Transphorm owns directly. That sets us apart from other companies. So the key near-term milestones for us is number one, continuing our vector on revenue growth, and especially product revenue growth in CY22 and then to CY23. We want more partners and solutions, which comes with our easy to design part, driving increased design wins in server, crypto, volume increases in this area, which we are already dominating. We'll increase our penetration in adapters and fast chargers, an area where now we have 50 plus design-ins and 20 plus in production. And then with our generation 5, we are targeting automotive qualification. Also in parallel, and very important in today's environment, is manufacturing capacity scaling, an important initiative for Transphorm to manage our supply chain, so we satisfy all the exciting demand that we are creating with our GaN products.
So this is an ever-increasing competitive landscape. Tell us what is unique about your technology, and perhaps what's the secret sauce or the secret masala that differentiates TGAN from competitors?
That's a great analogy with the masala. The Transphorm, we are an established innovator. Strongest intellectual property we have with experience. Our team has more than 300 years plus cumulative experience in this field. One of the original teams in GaN power, 1,000 patent plus IP portfolio, 5 to 10x more than some competition. Then we own our manufacturing, right? I cannot state how important this is. We are vertically integrated manufacturing supplier. We own our gallium nitride wafer manufacturing. We don't throw things over to an external foundry. It is not easy to own your manufacturing, but fundamentally important. And that has led us to be one of the only companies that has ramped gallium nitride in broad market segment from lower power to higher power. Others may or may not do that in future. Today, most of the competition with GaN is lower power. Then we've always led the way, again, with our IP, our manufacturing control, to being first in qualifying our products to most stringent standards of reliability, commercial standards like JEDEC as the automotive standard like Q101, and now have demonstrated silicon-like field reliability. And other good companies are also following now in this trend, which is good for the market. The market needs multiple gallium nitride companies to really dominate and take over silicon completely. So we do with all of this, again, performance of gallium nitride with the look and feel of silicon, easy to use.
Great. So we want to kind of get some kind of understanding of what goals are lying ahead for TGAN in terms of maybe touching on key milestones that you're hoping to reach in the near term.
Yes, like I said, continue to grow our product revenue quarter after quarter. That is extremely important. Get more market shares in adapters and chargers with our working hand in hand with our solution partners who use easy to design and transform technology. Continue our domination in higher power crypto mining server, automotive qualification of our highest power products like our generation 5, which is up to a 10 kilowatt type of technology for automotive OBCs, onboard charger, and DC-DC converter, and then continue to scale our supply, invest in manufacturing capacity, manufacturing scaling, invest in our growth of our team, especially in the area of applications, sales and application and design worldwide, and then set ourselves up to not only meet, but grow rapidly the exciting demand that our GaN products are generating.
Excellent. So, what would be the potential challenges or pitfalls to reaching those milestones?
Sure. So some of the several hurdles gallium nitride has already overcome and Transphorm has already overcome and helped overcome is making sure customers, users are familiar with gallium nitride design. Then gallium nitride needs to have multiple sources of production. We took the initiative and created our own second source by licensing our intellectual property to a partner. Then multiple years of quality and reliability data has to be generated, which Transphorm has done, others are doing now. Next step for gallium nitride and all the companies in Transphorm, we have to continue to increase penetration, especially now over the next several years in automotive market, where again, multiple suppliers will be essential, like in the case of silicon carbide, and the maturity curve that has already begun will be now important. So we, Transphorm, TGAN, and other GaN companies continue to make gallium nitride easy to use for the customer. And like I said, Transphorm, we want to dominate from high power to low power across the entire gamut of the gallium nitride product chain.
This has been such a plethora of information. Thank you so much. Can you please guide our viewers and your potential investors to where they can find further information on Transphorm?
Sure. So our website, www.transphormusa.com, is a great source and where all our investor relations materials are there. We also have our social media handles, which we will provide you. And all in all, we are super excited to be in the midst of an all-round GaN adoption growth phase, the GaN revolution with TGAN. We remain focused on expanding our leaderships in high-power GaN, growing footprint in adapters and fast chargers, and capacity expansion, keeping up first and then next year staying ahead of the demand curve on our way en route to building a multi-$100 million business over the next few years.
Thank you so much. This was co-founder, president, and COO, Dr. Primit Parikh from Transphorm with the ticker TGAN. I'm Kamel Fisher, and you're watching the Sequire Spotlight.